Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and today we are resuming regular programming after that stint of videos which were just random gameplay which I submitted to CCP archivists in case he wanted to use any of them in the CCP video for Museum of Modern Art. And now I just try to cover most of the gameplay. I mostly play myself, so I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some far more amazing fleet action that will be submitted by other players. But yeah, that was on pretty short order actually that we got the message to start frapsing and uploading stuff. So I did my best, and it does mean that I didn't make a separate video yesterday because I did upload 4 of them I think yesterday. So but for today there are 2 new dev blogs, and I'm pretty sure that the first one here is going to please a lot of people, which is about the gifts. As EVE Online will reach 10 years of age, we'll get quite some gifts from CCP, and this dev blog is just to announce this to everyone. Obviously holiday celebrations in 2012. So let's have a quick look at what we're expecting. On the 13th, which is in just 2 days, we'll get a snowball launcher and a sizable stack of snowballs. So we'll be able to have some snowball fights going whenever we like. Sounds awesome. Of course, for those people that are more economically minded, you might want to keep these items because they will skyrocket in value once the hype dies down and then people have used up most of it. After that, on the 20th, so a week later, we'll find a mystery box filled with a range of goodies, many referencing familiar places, events and memes spanning the past 10 years of EVE Online. And additionally, on the 27th, so another week later, we'll receive yet another package with a rather unique new gift we are sure you'll enjoy. All of these will be available through the redeeming system. So, and damn, there's a pigeon just on the roof here. I hope you can't hear it, but yeah, so 3 gifts all 1 week from each other. And yeah, we know the snowball launcher, then we'll have a mystery box, and then finally the real gifts, I guess, on the 27th. I'm expecting that one to be the most sought after, maybe the one that will gain most value. But yeah, if you are not playing EVE Online, I'd say this is the time to resubscribe, because we'll get some nice goodies going. And next up, we have an introduction to Somer Blink. I'm not going to cover that, but there is another one that interests me personally a lot as a miner, which is about the aftermath of the mining barge changes, price indices for up until October. So some pretty interesting information on this one. I'll quickly go over it, but basically it's to explore what the changes to the mining barges have done for the EVE Online markets. So we start off with daily production of mining barges. As you can see, the Coveter took a nosedive, the Retriever and the Procurer. So these are only the barges, not the exhumers. This one is below. Yeah, the Procurer, wow, that's a pretty big spike, and same with the Retriever, which has become, if I'm not mistaken, the most popular mining ship. Yeah, obviously people start producing that quite a lot. Another aspect here are the loot changes, which caused a small spike because mining was going to become more profitable then. So yeah, people did start producing a bit more of them, but once the new changes were implemented, production of mining barges spiked, and we can see the same for production of exhumers, although it doesn't start off as low as with the mining barges. But yeah, the Hulk took a nosedive, we all know that. Same with the price of the Hulks actually. That was covered extensively in EVE Talk. And then what are the Machina probably knew the biggest spike, and then finally the Skiff, which can become a very tanked mining ship. So if you want to be absolutely safe, go for a Skiff and you won't regret it. But the Machina, which is the best solo mining ship, has completely overtaken the Hulk and basically switched position. whereas you can see on the loot changes, I would say maybe 3 to 4 times more hulks were being made, because the hulk was the best solo mining ship. Most of the machinas were for ice mining. This has completely turned around at this point. All the way at the tail end you can see, I would say once again 3 to 4 times more machinas are now being produced than hulks, because they're the best solo mining ship. So yeah, those are some pretty drastic changes. It's pretty interesting to see how the exhumer spike seems a bit higher than the mining barge spike at the point of the loot changes. So it does look like it's mostly people that are already seriously in the know about mining and production that have reacted to the loot changes. I can understand that. I think newer players didn't really understand what these loot changes would mean, with the drone alloys being removed. How this would make mining a lot more profitable, and so it's obvious that the market played to the more veteran miners and start producing more exhumers rather than more mining barges, which people with more skills tend to use, of course. Let's see, what's the next graph? Yeah, you get all the numbers in details. You get some serious machina production in August and September rose 183 and 93% respectively, while the skiff for the same month are 659 and 208% above the monthly average. So these are really extraordinary numbers of production that have come online because of the changes to the mining ships. Active logins is the next one on both mining barges and the exhumers. For the mining barges, the retriever is the biggest spike right there. Coveter also knew a small spike, and same with the procure. And here we have skiff for the blue chart, but machina knew a big jump, and the hulk is trending down below a number of machinas. So more people are logging on in machinas rather than hulks. So yeah, it's definitely overtaking the hulk as the most popular mining ship, although more people fly the retriever, I think. Maybe there are just really a lot of new players in EVE Online, which would be an awesome sign, of course. Counting all barges and exhumers in one series, we can see a big spike right there with the mining changes, just out of interest. I guess a lot of people wanted to check it out, and now it has died down after that, but still pretty stable and well above previous levels of activity in mining. So this does mean that the mined volumes has gone up significantly, but except for one drop here. What is that? In October you can see a small drop. It also does seem pretty stable, which is also reflected in the prices of minerals, which as you know have been very stable since this summer. So yeah, people are mining more. The prices have not fallen off a cliff because of the loot changes, but overall mining seems a bit more stable now than what it was before. I guess people are losing less ships just because they're easier to tank, which is decent for the economy. Of course, for us miners that like to trade a little bit as well. Oops, and that's some depleted asteroids. So I'll go on the next one. Yeah, for miners that want to mine for profit and not so much for producing stuff themselves, this is maybe not as good news, because price spikes were of course opportunities for you to sell at a nice profit. Before, this is a bit gone now. You know, prices have been very stable, and I don't see any reason why that wouldn't continue. What is this? Morphite and ice prices, which have gone drastically. So that basically means at the point of the mining barge changes, I think this morphite spike was speculation. They've gone down a bit, but they are starting to recover. Yeah, just more supply has come online, and at the moment prices have dropped down, but they're finding their new equilibrium points, which is below what prices used to be probably. But yeah, we also know that POS fuels are very low historically, and I don't really expect that to change either, unless we hear new stuff about the POS revamp. Finally, we get some indices, which is actually pretty interesting. as we can see 3% deflation in the primary producer index, 2% deflation in the secondary producer index. The 2% inflation in consumer prices is almost solely driven by Plex prices. So that's actually pretty interesting to note. If it weren't for the Plex, the consumer price index would show 1% deflation. So what that basically means is that pretty much everything, take 1, take 2, take 3, knows a bit of deflation, couple percent points. But Plex has risen so much in price that overall basket does know inflation. What this does mean, on the other hand, is that people with large wallets of ISK, like I just reached 10 billion, that's actually not a bad thing if you're interested in buying goods and not Plex. So in other words, Plex was the correct investment to make in order to protect the value of your ISK, but compared to all the other goods, it would have been better to keep liquid ISK in your wallet, because most other goods actually have known deflationary over, I think this is the last 2-3 months only though. So yeah, that's, did I completely close it? Yeah, unfortunately I did completely close it, not so good. So yeah, that's something I haven't really seen in the EVE talks, that there was actually a general deflationary cycle going on in the general economy, except for Plex. I hadn't really seen that. I'm going to have to try and see if I can figure that out myself, what the real driver products are behind this deflation. It could be an interesting experiment, but yeah, overall very interesting that Plex was the investment to make. That was pretty obvious, of course, but overall there's actually a bit of deflation going on for all the other goods. So people are producing quite a lot of stuff, supply is very high, and so having liquid ISK is actually not as bad an idea as I first thought it was. Anyways, there you go guys, couple dev blogs. Make sure to check out the redeem items page in just a few days for your snowball launcher, and I'll see you all next time.